Hey there fellow adult collectors, welcome back. David E. on here with another unboxing video, 1/6 scale unboxing, and what we have today is the QMX or Quantum Mechanics Studios 1/6 scale Captain Kirk. And it's QMX, the stuff of dreams, and it actually says it there. Made in China. Made in China. What isn't at this point? Star Trek, and this is the standard edition, and it says right there standard grade. So basically this is not the exclusive one that comes with the phaser rifle and I think one or two other pieces extra. This is the standard one, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that to add this to my collection. I have 3 others already and I'm continuing to work on it, and Kirk is not an easy one to find in any grade, the exclusive or the standard one. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. The original stuff, the original 6 shows, I am a fan of. Not the new stuff really so much. And the reason why I say 6 shows, and you see some of these sitting back here, seasons 1, 2, and 3 of the original 60s series and the animated series. I do count the animated series. If you've never seen the animated series, you're missing something. Voiced over by all of the original cast with the exception of Walter Koenig, who by the time they got around to him they didn't have any money left. True story. They're like, all right, we got all the rest of the cast, we can't afford another guy, so just forget it. Sorry, Walter, we'll just get some other voice actor to do this. And for a half-hour animated show from like 1974, which it's this show, by the way, that the Mego action figures are based on, not the original series. Just a little tip there. It's actually really, really well written. It'll surprise you. But yeah, the Star Trek the animated series, Star Trek The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. And then they tried to reboot the series and I lost interest. I haven't seen Picard, so I don't know about Picard yet. He's really hard to see in there, but we are going to open him up and test his articulation. I know there's a lot of glare. I do have the deluxe version of McCoy. I've got Spock already, a standard Spock, and I have a deluxe McCoy. And the McCoy comes with a ton of stuff. You see how I do this? I'm just sticking something in there so that I can twist that flap. Oh, it's not going to let me twist the flap because there is actually a sticker there. I'm glad I noticed that. So I'm going to cut this sticker and then I will twist that flap so that I can open it without causing a crease and damaging the flap. If you want to keep the box really intact, that's a way to do it. McCoy comes with a whole laboratory. And I have the captain's chair, but in that captain's chair right now is sitting the exclusive Ricardo Montalban as Khan figure from the original series, Khan. Go ahead and open this up. But like I said, you know, even though this is the standard edition, I'm happy to get it because I'm just that much of a fan. And there he is in there. You see he's got this neck brace, and that's consistent. This is consistent with all the rest of their packaging. Here's his iPad and his little pen that he writes on it with. They were way ahead of their time with a lot of the technology. I mean, it wasn't until just a few years ago that these things became popular, that they actually made them. The model for the original flip phone there. But we are going to go ahead and get him out of the package and take a look at him and test his articulation and everything. So let's transition to that. And we are back with our QMX 1/6 scale William Shatner as Captain James Tiberius Kirk figure out of the package with all of his basic accessories. Like I said, you know, the other one, I think it comes with an extra belt and a phaser rifle and a few other little bits and pieces, but we'll go ahead and take a good look at him. You can let me know what you think of the likeness on the William Shatner. He looks a little older here to me, I think, than the early 60s, or rather late 60s William Shatner. That face looks just a little older to me, with his yellow shirt and his big heeled boots with the high water pants that they were so well known for. As I pointed out, you know, I'm a big fan of the classic Star Trek and the classic series altogether. I'm a fan of. QMX, of course, gives you this ball hugger stand. I think I've coined that phrase. I'm not a fan of this type of stand. I don't like the stand that goes up between characters' legs, but that's what I've got. And again, in a moment, I'll be taking him off here and testing articulation and showing you all of his accessories in closer detail. I've probably seen every episode of the original Star Trek 20 times. You know, I grew up with it and saw it a lot in syndication on UHF stations back when there was such a thing. Now that looks like Kirk. Getting that upshot, that looks a lot more like William Shatner in those days. I just noticed that, you know, on close up here, looking straight on, that's a little bit better. And I'll get a better camera angle on this here. I'll work my way up. I just thought that his cheeks looked a little fat, but you know, getting into the profiles, I can see it a lot better. And their sculpts are really good. Their sculpts on these figures are spot on. They're really well done. Let's take a look at the accessories before we get going here. There's a lot of hands. We've got a pointing finger and good detail on the fingers as well. You can see the knuckles, the fingernails, veins and tendons in the back of the hand. This is well done. You had to have the judo chop hand. You had to. Kirk needs a judo chop hand so he can knock people out. I love that, actually. This is like a... I think this would be like a communicator grip hand because of the way it's articulated, or perhaps for holding the pen. I don't know if he can hold the stylus in that grip. It doesn't look like it, not unless you just kind of went between the fingers. This is very thin, but we'll get to that in a second. This is a pistol grip for the phaser, and it should be a two-part phaser when we get to it. It's a pair of fists, because you know that Kirk likes to dust up, right? So he needs a pair of fists. Going to work over Finnegan. This is probably the hand for holding his like iPad, if you will. That looks about right. And another type of gripping hand, perhaps, or a grasping hand for wrestling with someone, something like that. The stylus, of course, which again is very, very thin piece, so careful with this. And the actual writing pad. It would be nice if they put a sticker or something on here with some type of image or graft or looks like handwriting, maybe, to give some indication like something is being done with this. They could have even made it so that this opens, and because this is actually a heavy piece, but it does not open, but they could have made it so that it does, so that these light up. That would be interesting. There's the phaser. Classic Star Trek phaser, and if this is like the other ones, it should come apart. There you go. Two-part phaser with a little magnet to help to hold that together. Gotta have that. and then the classic style communicator, the flip up communicator. There you go. And this is the inspiration for the flip phone. The flip phone. So let's get Kirk off there and take a look at his articulation. Any fans of the original Star Trek out there? Side to side tilt. Kind of limited actually for the side to side tilt here. Up and down seems a little bit limited. It's kind of a head's just kind of on there. But single jointed, but they're all like that. And you know, you can see the top of his head. See? It's not a wig, folks, I swear. Shoulders, arms come way up. Shoulder joints feel really fluid, actually. A little too fluid there, Kirk. There we go. Double jointed elbows. Always like to see that in a figure. Huh. Or elbow. You know, I think I ran into the same problem when I reviewed the Spock. It seemed like the right hand, the right arm was double jointed and the left arm was a single joint and wouldn't bend all the way. And I'm pretty sure I ran into the same exact problem with the other unboxing that I did for Spock. One arm bent all the way and the other wouldn't. And I don't know why that is. But it doesn't even feel like it's a double joint in there. Wrist articulation should be pretty fluid on both hands. And I'll go ahead and I'll change a hand out and just see how that looks. It's a small peg. It's a small peg. I like it better when there is a big peg. So we'll just give him any old hand and see how hard that transition is. That's a loose peg there. Don't slide on me. There we go. That's not hard. Ab crunch. It's designed for it, and I can feel the split in there, but he doesn't go far and he doesn't really stay there. Leans back pretty good, so you know Khan can punch him out. Side to side. Splits, limited by the pants. Backward, it's not going anywhere backward. That's interesting. Usually you can get some kind of momentum that way, motion that way. Forward, you can give somebody a pretty good groin kick there. And seated splits. Double jointed knee. Boot goes all the way up. And these boots, I'm not going to take them off, but they are removable. And you can see the zipper going down the side there. But I'm not taking any of his clothes off, but I want to point out that you can get him out of these clothes. There's a zipper on the back of his pants. He's got like basically a t-shirt on underneath this shirt. You see the sleeve goes under part way. So you can take this off and he's got like a black t-shirt on underneath. So you can strip him down if you needed to. Ankle tilt, limited. Keep in mind the boots are going to give a lot of restriction, and these are like pleather style boots to give them a real leather look. I wouldn't really want to take these on and off anyways. I don't know what's under there actually, because I've not removed any of their boots, but it looks like you can remove them. Okay, let's get him down into the museum and set Kirk up with the rest of the figures that have been released so far and let him join the family. And here we are back down in the museum, over to the section where we have more of the modern stuff, the 1/6 scale figures and Build-A-Figures and Mezcos. I've done a lot of reviews for Mezcos. I've done a lot of reviews for the Mondo figures that you see down there. But today we're looking at the QMX Star Trek, and here's the current lineup of QMX Star Trek. There you see the Spock, which is a really good likeness of Leonard Nimoy. Khan, sitting in the captain's chair. DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy, another really good likeness. And of course this was the deluxe version of McCoy, so he came with a lot of accessories. And now Kirk has been added to the lineup. And I have a little bit more space here, and I'm hoping to be able to get some more. Currently on pre-order they have Scotty and Sulu. I don't know if they're going to keep going with it. I mean, there are a couple of other figures they could do. They could do Chekhov, they could do Uhura, you know, somebody. It would be nice if they did one of the original version Klingons like Kang. We'll see what happens. So again, are you a fan of the show? Are you a fan of the original Star Trek? And I did double check because I was curious about that. All of the figures have that same problem with the arm. The right arm is double jointed and the left arm does not appear to be. The left arm only bends to one point, while the right arm can bend all the way up like I have Kirk's arm right now. Double jointed. I don't know why that is. Here's a question for you. Have you seen Star Trek Enterprise? A lot of people, they weren't too keen on Enterprise when it came out. The last show in that collection. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to tell you you're kind of missing something, because it gives closure to the entire series. There are a lot of things, questions, that is, that were never answered in all of the Star Trek history to that point. That Enterprise answers those questions. For example, why it is that the Klingons in the original Star Trek look human, and then when you get to Next Generation they don't. They actually explain that. The only other time it was ever addressed was in Deep Space Nine, when someone asked Worf about it and he just said, "That's something that we do not like to talk about." But Enterprise explains it in great detail, as well as a few other things from the series that helps to explain a lot. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But what do you think? What do you think of the 1/6 scale Kirk? I like it. I like this series. I enjoy having these. Has this unboxing helped you to decide? Are you on the fence about it? About this series? Maybe you like them, maybe you don't. I mean, it's okay. To each their own, as they say. You know, I like things that a lot of people don't. So, like, I guess a lot of people weren't too happy with this Stan Lee. I really like this Stan Lee. I like the Guardians Stan Lee. But, whatever. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got anything out of it. I sure hope you did. Please share it if you can. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of our other videos for more unboxings, for showcases of vintage toys and action figures, for toy-related discussions that my wife and I have in the museum, comic book stuff, tours, conventions, all sorts of things that we do. A little something for everybody, and you may find something you like. I sure hope you do. So what more can I say, folks, but thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.